Episode 5 The Adventure of the Unspeakable Story.
来たぞ。ホームズの鋭い声が濃い霧の壁の向こうから聞こえてきた。私は霧のまとわりつく拳銃の撃鉄を起こして息を潜めて待った。永遠とも思える静寂、そしてその瞬間は突然訪れた。霧の中から見たこともない巨大な獣が私の目の前に躍り出たのだ。それは確かに犬だった。しかし明らかに尋常ではなかった。目はこうこうと燃え上がり、猛牛ほどもある体躯に獰猛な青白い炎をまとっている。地を這うような息遣いとうなり声、私はあまりの恐怖に震え上がった。見たまえワトソン、ホームズは魔獣を見据えて言い放った。こいつこそバスカビル家に代々語り継がれる伝説の魔剣なのだ。
Our first 2 months in London passed by in a flash. And that disconcerting courtroom experience we were first thrown into on the day we arrived in the country. And in Soseki-san's terrible ordeal that followed closely behind, we emerged victorious. However, there then came an abrupt end to our opportunities to appear in court. Which was hardly surprising, of course, since I was nothing more than an amateur, an unknown student of law from a faraway land. So life in our little office was very quiet. That is, until it was shattered one day by that fateful telegram. 15th April, 9:13 a.m. Naruhodo's Legal Consultancy. That morning, I was woken by the unreserved knocking on the door by the telegram boy. But after he'd gone, Susato-san's behavior became very obviously strange. Susato-san? Yes! Is it time to leave for court already? Let me see. What case is it today? I don't think I'm scheduled to defend anyone at the moment, am I? Oh, no, of course not. How silly of me. But I think Iris said she would make us breakfast this morning. So shall we go down to Mr. Sholm's suite? Yes, Iris makes the most delicious breakfast food. She does, doesn't she? And once our bellies are full, we can leave for court in fighting fit form. Let me see. What case is it today? Here we go again. So, what was it about? The telegram that was delivered this morning, I mean. Oh, a telegram? I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry, but you're not gonna get away with that. Well, I didn't think I would. Actually, don't give it a moment's thought. It's nothing. Nothing interesting, boring in fact. It's just a boring old telegram. That's 3 times now that she tried and failed to convince me that it's nothing. I promise I'll tell you about it at some point. Alright, I understand. I suppose Soseki-san will have arrived back in Japan by now, won't he? Yes, I should think so. He left immediately after that terrible ordeal. Which would mean he would have completed the voyage already, or be just a few days away. A fortnight ago, we had that very long telegram from him, do you remember? Complaining of seasickness. But by and large, it seems that the voyage has been going well. Is something wrong, Naruhodo-san? I was just wondering what might have become of Soseki-san if he had stayed in London, that's all. You mean, as regards Lord Franziques, the Reaper? Yes. I can't help wondering if seasickness would have paled into insignificance in that case. What is it they say? That no one who stands in the dock can be safe from the Reaper, right? Like the way that nightmarish trial ended on the very day we arrived in London. Even 2 months on, the cause of that dreadful fire is still a mystery. Yes, but at least Sasuke-san is safely out of the country now. Presumably that means that the curse of the Reaper can only take effect within the convent of the city of London, perhaps. Even if that's the case, it's little comfort. I have a terrible sense of foreboding. If the legend of the Reaper is to be believed, it would mean he wields a sword of justice himself. To come to think of it, I wonder what he's been up to these past 2 months. Surely not wielding that sword against more acquitted defendants. No, I don't think so. Apparently, Lord Van-Six hasn't appeared in court once since our last encounter. Oh? Yes, since Sasuke-san's trial. He's withdrawn from judicial service again, it seems. Really? Just like before, when he wasn't seen at court at all for several years. So, it's just been me who has had to face him in this recent spate of trials then. Ugh, just my luck. I wonder if luck doesn't come to it. Sorry? What was that? Oh, nothing. Never mind. Let's take a look at our room. It is kind of nice, huh? It ain't much, but it's home. Oh, our tea set. So this is the tea set that Sister-san brought with her from Japan. And some she has to notice me slipping sugar and milk into my cup when she makes it. It's just so bitter. Tea is a drink to be enjoyed, Naruto-san. You really don't have to force yourself to drink it, you know? I don't like to see you screw up your face, though. It's spring at last, and the weather is warmer now. But I love the smell of fire and the steam rising from the kettle. Oh, would you like some tea, Naruto-san? Thank you, Susato-san, but I'm alright for now. With the green tea Susato-san makes me, from time to time, and Iris's unique herbal infusions. This place is a paradise for a true tea lover. Green tea is such a wonderful accompaniment to British tea cakes, don't you think? That sounds so tasty. I wish I had a tea cake and tea right now. I've only been here in London for about 2 months, but my nest is starting to look a little messy already. You could tidy up once in a while. Susato-san, I always say, making a mess is a small sacrifice to pay for being able to further your studies. And time spent tidying up is time you can't devote to the same cause. And time spent on ridiculous arguments is time that could be better spent on some simple housework. She wins, but I'm supposed to be the lawyer here. Ha ha ha. Keep your space clean, you nerd. Okay, anything else of interest? Take a look at the other side of the room here, I guess. Do you know, I've never been inside your room there, Susetsu-san. I never even peeped inside. I should think so too. A young maiden's private chamber is a place of bittersweet secrets, you know. Oh, whatever you say, young maiden. Haha. We're rather lucky to find that old aquarium left behind there. The prawns we put in there are doing rather well, and the anemones too. It's a wonderful invention, isn't it? The sea behind glass inside your room. Another example of Great Britain's greatness. Having to clean it out and change water isn't so great though, is it? Man, that would be so hard to take care of. Without like newly machines and stuff. Susato's desk. Ah, this must be the telegram. Let's see. Ah, no, you mustn't look at that. Not under any circumstances. Alright, I won't. I'm sorry, Naruto-san, but you can be very mischievous at times. Put the telegram away if you don't want people looking at it. I shouldn't have been snooping around other people's desks, mister. Alright, let's go. Time to eat breakfast. My lodging in the office located in the attic above the suite of rooms rented by Mr. Sholmes. I call it a consultancy, but clients aren't exactly beating on the door. With the furniture we've moved in recently, this place is starting to feel like a real office. When you're ready, let's go downstairs for breakfast. I am ready. Let me sip some water here. Okay. 15th April, Sholmes' suite. Morning, Bruno. Morning, Susie. Good morning, Iris. Iris? What is it, Bruno? What is that terrible noise? It sounds like a cat being strangled. Ah, yes. You noticed that, did you? Hurley isn't in the best form this morning, it seems. Hello. Hello, Mr. Sholmes. Good morning. Good morning. To die, perhaps. Has something happened, Mr. Sholmes? You look miserable, and the way you were playing the violin before. My analytical mind is dead. Music is dead. The world is dead. And this blanched existence. That's all it is, my dear fellow. Nothing of consequence. I'm afraid I don't understand. Well, Iris, isn't it time we ate? Some dry toast and insipid coffee for me, if it's not too much trouble. Hey, cat. Oh look, it's Wagahai. Good morning, boy. Meow. That must be some sort of tiny door for cats to use. How did it get there? Well then, everyone. Time for breakfast. Oh, wonderful. Let me help you, Iris. It would indeed be a fine day to die. I knew something looked different. Something's missing from Mr. Sholmes' desk. I guess I didn't notice that before. I think we looked at some of the stuff in this room, but what is missing from the desk? Look at Mr. Sholmes' desk. This is completely clear. Isn't that enormous machine usually on it? Oh. We can never hope to understand what goes inside the great detective's mind, Mr. Nanhodo. Why, next time we're invited, we may find he's vacated the entire suite. That's scarily plausible, actually. Anything else to look at? Nope. Oh, all this stuff. There's all sorts on these shelves. Chemistry apparatus, books, papers, and lots of things I've never even seen before. It's all heaped up so high, I can't help the feeling that the whole lot is going to topple at any moment. Oh, it's such a charmingly untidy collection of paraphernalia, isn't it? It just looks messy to me, like my desk. But you, Mr. Nanhodo, must learn to tidy up after yourself. No favoritism here, then. Ha 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 ha. Very funny. Looks like the huge metal chest is being used as a table for tea and coffee. It seems very sturdy with an equally sturdy lock. Mr. Nanhodo, you mustn't go around opening things. I always have to keep an eye on you, don't I? You're very mischievous. How did you come to that conclusion? Fire's burning comfortably in the grate again today. It's a very different feeling to a Japanese hibachi somehow. Oh, look at the photograph of a lady displayed on the mantelpiece. Could it be? Yes, it must be. It's the woman. Oh, how exciting. Is that supposed to mean something to me? The woman? Whatever do you mean? These are all mementos from Mr. Sholmes' past cases, I think. If he'd been involved in any case, I wonder if the beef steak from La Carnival would be on display here. A mystery shoe, a curious hammer, some mysterious dancing men, a bust of Napoleon. Ah, what an entrancing collection. Looks like an untidy assortment of junk to me, rather like what's on my own shelves. Well, you really have to learn to keep your things in order, Mr. Nanhodo. No favoritism here at all. That's where Iris notes down ideas, is it? Let's see, what does it say today? Ah, the Boscombe Valley Mystery. Oh, how intriguing. Must be the title of Iris's latest work. Oh my! I wonder what fantastic tale awaits us. Susato-san looks like an angel, but I bet she's dreaming of the most unsavory crime you could imagine. Ha 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 ha. Okay, we'll talk to Iris last, I guess. Oh, this is her side of the room. Nice. That's a charming little white shelf, and full of charming little bottles, too. The contents of them aren't quite so charming, it seems. Science is the future, Mr. Nadholder. You can't deny it. I'm saving my money so I can buy some chemistry apparatus as well. Wow, chemistry, takedown throws. What diverse skills you boast, Mr. Sato. As useful as they are, I'm not sure my throwing skills are worthy of inclusion in that list. What are you saying, Mr. Sato? Apprehending the criminal was most important. Look at this typewriter. Come to think of it, I haven't seen Iris doing much writing recently. But there's paper already set up in the typewriter, look, as if she's about to start. That reminds me, when I mentioned that Iris was in the process of writing a full-fledged novel, Mr. Natsume was most impressed. Oh yes, Mr. Natsume. That's what I'll be doing too, once I'm back in Japan, he said through his tightly clenched fists and teeth. Oops, we already read that. That's all the same. Okay, anything else? Little tea set. Iris' beautiful tea set is there on the table as usual. A cup of one of her special herbal blends always helps me to relax when I'm feeling strained. The English pastime of tea has many similarities with their own tea ceremony custom, don't you think? It's the idea of hospitality behind it. That's the essence of tea. That's really nice. Okay. I guess that's all we have to explore here. So let's try talking to Mr. Sholmes. Wanting to die. What a title. You seem to be very unhappy this morning, Mr. Sholmes. What's happened? It used to be the case. That's in my hands. This violin, sung like a dawn chorus, as melatonin tones, would make flowers bloom. It would? But now, the muses are unamused with me. The goddesses of music have thrown me over. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? For hours I have bowed, for days even, through the night I have endeavoured, to no avail. Its sound, my tone, is lost. Its brilliant, clear, unwavering tone, gone forever, no more recitals of unbridled emotion. Well, you haven't been practicing much lately, have you, Hurley? Don't worry, I'm sure I'll come back to you in time. Heed my words, Mr. Naruhodo. The goddesses of the arts are fickle. One day they bestow genius on a man, the next they unmercifully withdraw it. Oh, dear. Ah! Why is this happening to me? If they take the turn I have for the violin from me, what is left for pity's sake? What is left? Deduction perhaps? Isn't that what you're known for? Mr. Sholmes, I don't like to pry, but the desk looks rather empty today. Ah, well done, Mr. Sato. Your observational skills do you credit. Oh no, Mr. Sholmes, they pale into insignificance when compared to yours. You'd struggle not to notice, wouldn't you? You mean Hurley's great analytic? That's at Windybank's now. Sorry? It's at a Windy Bank? No, Windybank's. The pawnbrokery. Pawn? What? You mean you've pawned that enormous machine of yours? It has some considerable value, you see. Quite undeservingly. But, is it a very important machine for your work? I do wish you had consulted us if your situation had become so desperate. I would have gladly passed what little income I have to you. Dear madam, things are far from desperate. But the pawnbroker has your wonderful machine. How can it be anything but desperate? Making use of a pawnbrokery is quite ordinary here in London, I assure you. It is. It doesn't sound ordinary at all. It would seem that neither of you fully understand how pawnbroking works. Oh. What's to understand exactly? Maybe he had to sell it to make up for money he didn't have. What did you mean when you said we didn't fully understand how pawnbroking works? To the people of London, pawnbrokers are akin to banks. Banks? On Mondays, merchants relinquish their finest jackets and trappings to their pawnbroker of choice. With the money they receive in return, they are able to trade happily through the week. And then on Saturdays, they go and cover their things using the money they've earned. I had no idea. This has been a fascinating lesson for us. Everyone does it, you see, especially people in inner London. And should they have money to spare, they would purchase another fine jacket. Not to wear, obviously, but to pawn, should the need arise. Oh, how ingenious. So wherever we have something that's getting in the way, we leave it at Winterbanks, you see. Pawnbrokery can be thought of as an extremely secure vault. Who would have thought that even pawnbrokers are different here in Great Britain? Of course, you have to watch Hurley with it. Sometimes he pawns things he really shouldn't. Don't you, Hurley? What does it matter? The world is dead to me now. Okay, let's talk to Iris now, I guess. Wagga High. The cat. Mr. Nesimus cat seems to have settled into his new home then. Oh yes, and I think I'm very attached to the little Waggy. It would appear his previous owner is completely forgotten to him. Cats are unfeeling creatures. The mews are as empty as the heart of the muses. If Mr. Nesimus had no intention of taking Waggy back to Japan, I wonder why he kept him in the first place. I expect he would have taken him if he could. Pets are strictly forbidden aboard steamships in our experience. And for good reason. Terrible things can happen if the rules of passage are not obeyed. Well, I don't mind, because Wacky is adorable. So cute. Yes, he really is. Oh yes, what about the door? I don't remember seeing that tiny thing in the main door before. Where did that come from? Oh, you noticed? You're so observant, Bruno. Look, I used this. It's my latest invention. What is that? I call it the cat diplomat. Gosh, a machine for making doors just for cats? That's right. I can make a cat flap for a little furry friend like Waggy in seconds. I can do it in any door at all, no matter what it's made of. It's very powerful, you see. Wouldn't it have been quicker just to make the cat flap rather than make a machine to make the cat flap? Well, yes, maybe, but now I can make cat flaps anywhere I like. Oh, I think it's wonderful. You must make one for us in the door of our office upstairs, Iris. She really knows how to come up with unconventional inventions, this girl. Hehehe. Oh, what was that? Wagga High? Uh-oh. Oh. What happened? What was that? Oh no! Wagga High's tangled up in your violin! I think he thinks it's a toy. No, what's he doing to it? Oh dear. Mr. Sholmes has pressed his violin. Violins are expensive, man. Why should I care? What? I shouldn't be surprised. The cat is a more accomplished musician than I now. Mr. Sholmes is in really poor spirits, isn't he? Well, anyway, I'll put it back where it lives. Shall I, Hurley? Have the cat reach if possible. Maybe we should assess the damage. Violin to the right, I think? So this is the violin, is it? It's a Stradivarius, one of the finest violins. It's a Stradivarius, holy moly! One of the finest violins in the world, made by the renowned Italian luthier Antonio Stradivari. Oh, I see. It doesn't really look like anything special to me. I happened upon it at dusk, languishing in a pawn shop down a nondescript back alley. The broker had no idea of its value, so I was able to purchase it for a mere 55 shillings. Holy moly. How honorable of you. And until today, it has been my faithful companion in every great Paganini-inspired performance I have made. I ask you, is there a reason to live in a world devoid of music? Tolerate its blanched existence? No. There is none. Mr. Sholmes? What, dear madam, what? My thoughts are preoccupied with the fancies of release from this dull routine. Well, it's about the violin. It looks very different to normal, don't you think? What do you mean, Mr. Sato? Oh, Susie's right. Yes, the tone of the wood is completely different. That's not all. I'm sure there was no crack here before. Wait, it's not even the right size, is it? What's this? I'm terribly sorry to have to tell you this, Mr. Sholmes, but that instrument isn't a violin at all. It's a viola, right? Then what? I believe it's entirely a different instrument called a viola. What? 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 Oh, Mr. Sholmes, are you alright? You're right. You are quite right. This isn't my faithful Stradivarius. So what? Pray, is this piece of stringed flotsam not your faithful performing partner, then? Ah, I see what must have happened. You do, Iris? This is just a simple mix-up. Sounds like Iris might be able to tell us exactly what's happened if we ask her. Mix-up. What did you mean by mix-up, Iris? Oh, you see, this violin... Sorry, this viola, I mean... was at Windybank's until last week. At the pawnbrokers. They took it from us. Oh, Mr. Sholmes' beloved musical partner. There's a problem from the east, with which you are no doubt familiar, my dear fellows. Always let a beloved child travel. Yes, indeed. So you sent your beloved violin to the pawnbrokers in the hope that it would experience personal growth. Oh, what a wonderful idea. This week I pawned my great analytoscope in order to release my precious instrument. It would appear Mr. Windybank mistakenly furnished me with this tawdry fiddle instead. But my ears cannot be deceived by the hollow timbre of this piece of timber. No, but your every sense was deceived by the fact that it just had strings. Pshaw. A fine state of affairs this is. That's why I always say, Mr. Naruhodo, never trust a pawnbroker. He will try to fiddle you every time. But earlier you told us that you could think of a pawnbroker as an extremely secure vault. Come, Mr. Naruhodo. Dilly-dallying will get you nowhere. Sorry? Crunching your toast with that vacant aspect, fressing your coffee so obtusely. Are you not a little embarrassed by your own conduct, considering the urgency with which we are faced? We must visit Mr. Windybank's brokery at once. Isn't that right? That's right, isn't it, Mr. Sholmes? Precisely, Mr. Sato. Without a moment's delay. But I haven't finished my bacon and eggs. My dear fellow, surely you will not intend to crunch your bacon with an increasingly vacant aspect, to press your egg ever more obtusely. Alright, say no more. Let's go then. Don't worry, Bruno. I'd be happy to heat it up for you again later. Oh, thank you, Iris. If that happens, I'm rather curious to see what a British pawnbroker looks like. Guess we're going now. Oops. New location has been added. A British pawnbroker shop. How fascinating. Okay. Let me pause for a moment here. I need to grab my nose. 15th April, Windybank's Pawnbrokery. So this is the British Pawnbrokery. Oh my! There are all sorts of tools and contraptions in here that I never laid eyes on before. Ah, Susato-san, and the spark of wonder in your eyes. You can't wait to scour the shelves, can you? I got the impression you enjoy places like this? Oh yes, I don't know why, but seeing such a lot of things I don't understand is a real thrill for me. My dear fellows, let's not forget why we are here. Oh, Mr. Sholmes. We're calling on the matters of business, not pleasure. And certainly Mr. Sholmes means business too, judging from the spark of his fury in his eyes. Ah, Mr. Sholmes, sir. Welcome back. Did you hear that brazen welcome? Well, yes, we are potential customers after all. We are disgruntled customers, Mr. Nuthugo. It is time to inform Mr. Winterbank of our ire. Come, the fight is afoot. Naturally, you will recall this, which I retrieved from you some days ago. Yes? The second-rate fiddle is not my faithful instrument, Mr. Winterbank. The colour of the wood is different. It has holes in it. It's not even the same size. A wonderful summary of our observations, Mr. Sholmes. Oh, I'm so very sorry, sir. How utterly unforgivable of me. An inexcusable mistake for a pawnbroker. There's only one way to make amends. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh, what the? I shall have to take my own life. I don't think that will be necessary, do you? If I may just say one thing before I pop off. Ah, yes? It was you, sir, Mr. Jones, who took it upon himself to remove the item the other day, I believe. Sorry. As I recall, I entered the storeroom to fetch your violin when I heard, ah, here it is. You did. And when I tried to controvert you, you had taken the viola and left, sir. However, there can be no doubt that the blame lies firmly at my own door for allowing you to leave. So I shall not grumble or grouse any longer. May this guilt die with me. No, 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 stop, my dear fellow. The fault is mine. Whew. It appears that the fight is over. I do humbly apologize, Mr. Winterbank. Evidently my questionable disposition precipitated this tragedy. Well, you wouldn't be Mr. Sherlock Holmes without that questionable disposition now, would you? I do believe you may be right, sir. Ha 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 ha. It's either laugh or cry, I suppose. A freaking Stradivarius, though. You are, it must be said, one of my more challenging customers. I need to remind you of the peculiar collection of items you brought through my door in the past. Oh, peculiar items. In the extreme, ma'am. For example, the unpublished manuscript of an eponymous work. The novels of Sherlock Holmes or such. Oh my! A new full-fledged novel? And unpublished? A story I've yet to read, you mean? Oh, forgive me. Wait, before you die, you must tell me more. I must know more. Tell me everything. Wow, Susan's son is really fired up now. Is there really an unpublished story? Under this very roof? Well, one day the gentleman here brought an old metal chest, you see. I should like to entrust this to your care for a while, Mr. Winterbank. For a chest like that, 1 shilling, sir. Not a farthing more. It houses something of very great value indeed. The latest manuscript, recounting the adventures of one of Mr. Sherlock Holmes. I beg your pardon, a manuscript? You wish to deposit a manuscript? Indeed I do, for I'm confident it will be quite safe here. And that was that. As such, Mr. Sholmes' latest tale of unworldly mystery lies dormant in my storeroom. Mr. Sholmes, is that really true? Do we sense that someone doesn't want to talk about this? I continue to pay your fee, do I not? Then kindly continue to store my belongings securely. Of course, sir, of course. They're safe and sound with me, assure you, on my life. This is all very strange. Please stop pointing that gun at your head. It's very disturbing. I wonder, can I ask you something? Ah, a gentleman from the east, I see. Yes, that sable suit. I suppose I could offer you a 6pence for it. Without wishing to offend, the tone is somewhat dull. Sorry? Aha, but for a splendid attire, ma'am, 5 guineas, no less. The clothes are exquisite, the design exotic. Eastern artistry at its finest, I may say. Oh my, 5 guineas, you say? How interesting. Why do I feel as though I've suffered some sort of defeat here? Actually, I was hoping to ask you about your business. I've heard it said that pawnbrokers are used rather like banks here in London. Yes, sir, indeed. Many of my customers utilize the establishment as you described. I appraise their items and offer them an appropriate loan and 2 months of secure stowage. If in that time they repay the original sum to me plus the agreed interest, their items are happily returned. What happens if they don't pay you the money? And the items are offered for sale in my shop, as you can see on the shelves behind me. So you never saw items before 2 months has passed then? That's right, ma'am, that's right. Which means some considerable responsibility rests on my shoulders. Should a customer's precious belongings be lost, the only recompense is for me to end it all. The very idea, Mr. Windybank, is an absurdity. One should never talk of one's demise so casually. Says the man who was just telling us all it was all a good day to die only this morning. Let us not forget that I've already helped you take measures to ensure such a tragedy never occurs. Oh, what sort of measures? I engineered a simple device, which Mr. Windybank has installed here in his shop. I call it the Red-Handed Recorder. Is that not so, Mr. Windybank? Ha. Huh. What was that deep sigh about? What on earth is a red-handed recorder? Use your eyes, my dear fellow. There are 2 just below the ceiling. I can see what appears to be a camera attached to some sort of timing device. Very astute. It is indeed a camera furnished with some 100 pieces of celluloid film. And every 30 minutes precisely, the camera automatically records the appearance of the shop. Here, I have an example I can show you. Ah, so it takes a photograph every 30 minutes. That's handy. Ah yes, a print from the camera set to record the activity at the shop counter. I developed a special type of film so sensitive it produces a crystal clear image even in darkness. Really? That's extraordinary. Yes, you can clearly see the counter and the door behind it. Look. Wow, did they actually have that technology back then? That'd be interesting. So you see, were there someone to enter the premises with ill intent, his identity would be summarily exposed. But so you don't say that the photographic prints were taken at 30-minute intervals? Indeed, as you say, my dear madam. What if the incident were to occur in between times? One can only say. That would be a cruel twist of fate. I must confess, your devices have been giving me some cause for distress of late. I beg your pardon, Mr. Windybank. Surely they are anything but distressing. Reassuring is the word. It's the cost of the film, sir. You must graciously not place 1 but 2 cameras in my shop after all, which means I must pay for nigh on 100 utterly useless prints every single day. I'm afraid the cost of the film will break me before I'm very much older. Well, it must be very expensive. Nevertheless, a small price to pay to ensure the safety of my preferred pawnbrokerino. My dear fellows, we verge on an age where safety and security come at a price. Oh, heaven help us. Now then, Mr. Sholmes, allow me to return your precious violin. Oh, there it is. Ah, the very thing. Thank you, Mr. Windybank. Perhaps this might mark the end of the peculiar items you tried to pop, Because if anything were to happen to one of them, this would be the only answer. I really think you ought to stop waving the gun around. Someone could get hurt. Fear not. Sorry? I've only loaded a single bullet, so no one but myself could possibly be harmed. That's not really what I meant. Good day to you then, Mr. Windybank. It's been a pleasure as always, Mr. Sholmes. So, Mr. Netherthorpe, everything's more at last. There seems to be a little door hidden behind that curtain there. That leads to the storage room, where Mr. Windybank keeps articles that are currently in pawn. Ah, I see. With nothing of peculiar interest inside, I certainly wouldn't recommend any loss in this activity. Committed or not, it's not something I tend to do. There's but 1 key, and Mr. Windybank keeps it in his pocket at all times. Before he sleeps, he places it into a small pot, which he slides under his pillow. How on earth did you know that, Mr. Sholmes? I'm a detective, sir. It's my business to know what others do not. I'm frequently assailed by information that I neither care for nor wish to retain. Mr. Sholmes, you are a wonder. And the prime suspect if this pawnbroker is ever burgled. Lots of random things, huh? Look at that enormous ledger open on the counter there. Mr. Winterbank is, if nothing else, very particular about recording the items he accepts. He'd have to be, otherwise he'd get himself into all sorts of trouble. Which might explain the thing that catches my eye far more than the ledger. This revolver here. Do not entertain even a single thought of pilfering an article therein, my dear fellow. I assure you, Mr. Winterbank would not hesitate to draw that weapon with the speed of bellying his portly size. Oh, you don't mean he'd... Blow his brains out, indeed, in recompense for his blunder. Oh my. In any case, of course we would never do such a thing. How could you even suggest it? Anything else? Look at this! What could this lovely big shiny box be? That, my dear madam, is a music box. Surely you have such things in your own country. Oh my, yes, but I've certainly never seen one so large before. Shall we listen a while? Ah, so pretty. Ah, what a sublime sound. It's like the music of angels. I've never heard anything like before in my life. This particular specimen is of the larger variety, commonly found in public houses and restaurants. There is a metal disc inside on which the notes to be played are recorded. Simply by replacing the disc with another, any music you care to imagine can be played. My goodness! What a simply delightful machine. Indeed, though their popularity has waned recently with the development of the gramophone, of course. Science and technology advance at such an overwhelming pace. What an assortment of things there are on these shelves here. Crockery, footwear, clocks and watches, almost anything you care to imagine. Those are forfeited items, offered for sale by the pawnbroker. What does that really mean, though? When you pawn, or colloquially pop, an item, the broker loans you money against its worth. He stores the item for an agreed period of time, after which the loan must be repaid. If not, he is free to display it in a shop for sale at the price of his choosing. Oh yes, now that you've explained it, I'm noticing a little price tags on everything. Of course, simply by paying the agreed interest on the loan, one can extend the period of safekeeping. So I may pawn that black garb of yours without fear, my dear fellow. My treasure university form? Never! It embodies my student spirit. An assortment. Now what do you suppose this rather enormous machine does? It seems to have two little windows for looking through. Allow me to enlighten you, my dear fellows. What you are looking at is a stereoscope. A stereoscope? Fascinating. It is aptly named, I assure you. Look through the eyepiece and see for yourself. Oh, I should be delighted to. Excuse me a moment while I have a look. Just before you do, there is something I should point out. My dear fellows, in order to see the image properly, stereoscopically as it were, you will need to be cross-eyed. However, if that is beyond you, it is of little consequence today. Alright then, I'm gonna try it. Mr. Chronicles, you must see! At once! Oh, alright then. So I need to be cross-eyed, like I'm trying to look at my own nose. What the? I don't believe it. It's just a photograph in print, but it seems like you could reach out and touch it. Yes, the sense of depth is startling, is it not? Stereoscopes are one of London's many fads. They're often found in little stalls in the park. People queue for hours to see them. Why? Why are people meddling with such black magic? It is no magic, my dear madam. It is will. Far too complicated to explain at present. We shall save this lesson for another day. Oh. It's like, this must have been like an 80s or 90s thing, but there used to be like this little contraption where you, I forget what it's called, but, it was like usually red, and then it kind of looked like a binocular kind of thing, except it was a kid's toy. And then you would slide it, this disc in with like pictures on it and then put it inside. And then you would be able to flip it with a little switch, and then it would flip through the pictures like a, I forgot what it's called, but, it would flip through like a colored selection of pictures. So it's kind of, it seems like it was kind of like that, except, it had the two images where if you look at it cross-eyed, it would seem 3D. So this machine is a little different, but it just reminded me of that. Look at this! Whatever could it be used for? I have no idea. Ah. But yeah, when I was a kid, I used to play with that thing all the time, and they always used to be at, like, souvenir shops and, like, toy shops and stuff, and you could buy different packs for different pictures. Like, some would be themed with, like, cartoons, or just be, like, landscape photos, etc. There's a small catch here, just here, look! We're going to open it, aren't we? Oh my, that's amazing! It's some sort of spring-loaded mechanism, which will never manage to put back the way it was before. Hmm? What are you two doing? What? Us? Nothing. Nothing at all. Whatever this device is, it seems to have a pair of little windows to look through. It feels as though I've been seeing something rather similar to this elsewhere. April 15. That's not a calendar you could easily miss, is it? 15th of April, today's date. Yes, that's not for sale, I must point out. It's an Eastern-style page-a-day calendar. Every night at midnight, I tear off the front page to reveal the following day's date. A perfect calendar for a tearaway fellow such as yourself, Mr. Winterbank. And who was it who walked out of here with the wrong violin before? Well, when the agreed storage period has passed without repayment, articles are forfeited, you see. So I have to keep a close eye on the date. It's something of a pawnbroker's obsession, you might say. Oh yes, I can see you're very dedicated to your job. What? Only tuppence for it? That ain't fair, and you know it. The article's barely worth a penny, miss. I cannot offer more. Sounds like there's an argument brewing over by the counter. Come on, that can't be right. Have you even had a proper butcher at it? I see on to see, young girl. Oh. Wait, don't we know? I'm sure I recognize her. Oh yes, it's the young lady. McGillen's trial 2 months ago. Her name is Gina Lestrade, my lord. She's a chancer. Earns her crust among the large crowds, relieving people of their purses. Most commonly called a pickpocket. Okay. Just to reiterate, I cannot do the London accent, and I'm very, very sorry. I apologize to anyone in advance. Gordon Bennett, you lot! Hello, Mr. Stride. I hope you've been well. What? You remember me then, do you? Well, I remember being completely surrounded by smoke, that's for sure. So, what are you doing in here? Down and out like the rest of us. Nothing to eat. Come to pop that black weasel. Sorry, coat, have you? What's it about that black uniform that makes everyone comment on it? Ah, good day, unless I'm much mistaken. You'll be the young pickpocket who sold our experimental smoke grenade launcher. Ah, it's the Shows. So, you have something of value to pawn, do you? Allow me to see the article and I shall negotiate with Mr. Woodenbank on your behalf. Pull the other one. I don't need no help from some stuck-up D. Get out of my business. Go on, or I'll make trouble for you. As you wish, Mr. Strahd. I will happily remove myself from your presence. He's really done it. He's gone. I'm sorry, but as I said, there's really no room for negotiation here. What is that thing he has in his hand? It's a kind of metal disc. Hey, you! Go on! Leave me alone! Oh, Miss Lestrade, just pretend you're here. We shan't be offended in the slightest. Susato-san can really stand her ground when he wants to. Whatever. Pawnbroker's customer. Somehow, I didn't really think you were the sort of person who'd use a pawnbroker, Miss Lestrade. Yeah, well, I am alright. I'm a Londoner, just like everyone else. That's a problem, isn't it? Is it? No, not at all. It's just that, well... Oh, I get it. I know what you lot are thinking. That thing probably don't belong to her. Probably got into the dive, didn't she? Yeah, I can see it written all over your Chevy Chase. Well, I might have been thinking about something along those lines. You're not going to deny it, Mr. Nadahogo? Alright then, I'm just going to come out and ask you straight. Do you pawn things that you steal from other people? Well, I don't know about best to answer that, really. I suppose, sometimes. You're not going to deny it either, Miss Lestrade? Well, not this time, alright? I swear, this thing belongs to me. This time Mr. Winbeck is holding. Perhaps we should see what he has to say about all this. Mr. Winnebank, what exactly is this metal disc that Mrs. Strata spotted? It seems to have hundreds of tiny little bumps on its surface. Ah, this is a music disc, you see, for the use inside a music box. In a music box? What? You don't even know what a music box is? You Eastern lot ain't too savvy, eh? I know what a music box is, I just never seen one of those discs before. Small protrusions on the metal disc encode the tune to be played by the music box. We simply insert the disc and set the machine going, and beautiful music plays. It's so incredible. Tell us, what tune is on this disc? Well, afraid I couldn't tell you that. There are so many different types of music box you see, British made, German, Swiss. I have no way of knowing which particular machine this disc was made for. Ah, I see. That's it in a nutshell. They wouldn't have any customers for an item like this, even if the young lady forfeited it. Really, I'm already offering more than I should at a penny. That's a packet of lies. He told me he did. He said it was, well... He? Who? Never you mind. It ain't just right, that's all. This is worth good money, I know it is. Well then, you have to try your luck at another pawnbroker's, won't you? Ah. She's been in here before, of course. This is a tattered, Demalion. I see. And brought some dubious article or other with her every single time, I might add. Dubious? What are you trying to say? I'm an honest customer, me. So, is there something dubious about the disc she brought in today? Well, if only it were that simple. Sorry, what do you mean? What she actually brought in is a storage ticket. Ah, storage ticket, so... Mr. Rogers actually come to redeem an article from you today, is that right? Yeah, that's right. A girl like me has a lot of stuff what needs storing. Alright, yes, that's definitely dubious. The article in question would have been forfeited at midnight tonight. But as she gave me the ticket for it, it repaid both the loan and the interest. Obliged to return the article to her. What was the article? Do tell us, Mr. Wingbank. The Mrs. Campbell is wearing it, ma'am. It's the overcoat that she redeemed. Oh. What? What's wrong with that? It fits, don't it? I mean, it's my suit. Of course it does. So, what about the disc then? How does that come into all this? Ah, the disc is something else. A new article to pawn. If the girl and I can agree a price. I'm confused. I thought you said that Miss Lestrade brought in a storage ticket today. It's really quite simple. Yes, the child brought me a storage ticket and the money owed on it, as you say. This heavy black coat, which you returned to her care, as I understood it. That's right, yes. And rather unsurprisingly, as soon as the little ragamuffin put the thing on, she went rifling through the pockets. Oh, you mean... What? Did you know it's rude to stare at a lady? Ah, I see. It came from the pocket of the overcoat, did it? If you mean this disc, then yes, exactly, ma'am. She immediately tried to pawn it. Quite a high price as well. This is all rather suspicious, I think. Give it up. I'm just trying to pull something like anyone else would. Mr. Strahd, may I ask who deposited the overcoat here in the first place? Well, me. It doesn't really appear to be your size. Me old man! That's me old man, isn't it? Is it, Mr. Strahd? Yes, this is definitely rather suspicious. Out of my way, please! Whoa, who's this guy? Who's this picture postcard English gentleman? Good day to you, ladies. Gentlemen. What's your problem, eh? There's no problem, as long as you remove yourself. I have a matter to discuss with the proprietor. And if you intend to make a problem of it, I shall see you outside, little girl, for hiding you deserve. Look, ain't it obvious? I ain't done talking with him yet. If you think you're such a gent, you should know how to wait in line. Well, you are an impudent little brat, aren't you? As well as a pickpocket. Eh? Who are you? How do you know who I am? Oh, excuse me, I had a sneeze. The question is, how do you not know who I am? You haven't the courtesy to even remember the faces of your victims, it seems. What? You mean, from you? Broker. Yes, sir. I believe this filthy pocket thief has just redeemed an article from you, no? Yes, sir. The article in question belongs to me. I demand for it to be returned at once. Oh my! Now that's a lie. What are you trying to pull? Give me back my overcoat, you wastrel. And needless to say, any music box discs too. No, you can't have it. You can't. You just can't. It's me old man's, or it was. No, it's mine. Goodness, Mr. Nataholo. This is a very awkward situation. I think perhaps we should hear both sides of the story in a little more detail. Gentleman's accusation. Mr. Strahd, is what the gentleman is saying? What do you think? It's all lies, ain't it? Obviously. I saw it in my life. I never laid eyes on that dandy before. It's yours now, you little ragamuffin. You stole it, didn't you? The ticket you brought in here just now. No, I swear it. I swear to God. It was barely an hour ago. I was walking along the street, minding my own business, when the little gutterling ran into me. I knew at once what had happened. I've been robbed yet again, I thought to myself. Those wretched pickpockets. Yet again. Oh yes, as you can see, I'm a man of impeccable style. This isn't the first time I've been targeted by these black slum scoundrels. Back slum, not back black. Now then, relinquish my overcoat. Come along now, Mr. Strahd. Give the good gentleman his coat back. If you're going to cause trouble, I have no choice but to call the police. Hold on! Why does everyone think it's me? Just look at this dandy cove, and you think I'm the dodgy one? I'm sorry, but no one's going to believe you. Well, what about evidence? Yeah. Where's your evidence that I stole something, eh? Come on, let's see it. Oh, I have evidence, naturally. You what? Evidence that the article Mr. Strahd deemed actually belongs to this gentleman. Of course. We need only to consult Mr. Windbank's letter to know the truth. We'll be able to look up the name of the person who deposited the article in the first place. Yes, brilliant. I'm very sorry, but I'm afraid that won't be possible. Oh. I never ask customers' names, that's a strict policy of mine. But why not? Well, now, as you can imagine, some of my customers have circumstances to consider. A great many of them prefer to maintain their anonymity. Yes, I see. But then how can you know if an article belongs to the person asking to redeem it? Oh, it's quite simple. Good sir. Might I trouble you for the watchword associated with the article in question? Of course. It's... Professor. Yes, that's right. That's the evidence we need. The gentleman is the rightful owner of the article, without doubt. A watchword? Interesting. So, about these watchwords, Mr. Winterbank. Just as I explained, I never ask customers' names when they deposit items with me. There are many reasons why. Certain customers would like to keep their activities secret. That wasn't exactly a subtle glance at Mr. Sholmes now, was it? Good detectives have no dark secrets, none at all. Yes, well, anyway, that's why I always ask for a watchword whenever I accept a new article. In many ways, it's like the secret combination of numbers used to unlock a vault. The date of the deposit, a description, and a watchword uniquely identify each item. And of course, then I give the storage ticket to the customer. When someone comes to redeem something, I ask for the ticket and the watchword. And if someone tells you the correct watchword, then you return the article? That's right, sir. Yes. Just as soon as the requisite fee is paid. And I have supplied you with the information you require already, but for the avoidance of doubt. The article in question is an overcoat, deposited 2 months ago on the 15th of February. With a watchword of Professor. All perfectly correct information, sir. But how? Really, this is beyond a joke now. There's no further room for doubt. You talk to this guy, I guess. Picture postcard gentleman. Excuse me, but who are you? One would expect the inquirer to introduce himself first. Though clearly you are not British, so perhaps our ways are foreign to you. Oh, sorry, yes. We're from the Empire of Japan. We're studying here. Oh, yes, Japan. I've heard talk of the place. Oh my gosh. Its inhabitants live on some fiery brown-coloured soup, dressed up with exotic spices. You might be thinking of somewhere else. And what was that theatrical gesticulation about? Perhaps. Anyway, if you are a gentleman, sir, you offer your own name first before inquiring after the name of another. Of course, yes. I'm Yunosuke Naruhodo. I'm a lawyer. Well, a student of law, really. My name is Susato Mikotoba. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's assistant. I see. My name is Benedict. Yes, Eggert Benedict. He's a egg. Ha 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 ha. Enchanté. He's so refined in how he holds himself and how he speaks, but that name is suspicious. Now, to the matter at hand. Oh my goodness. My overcoat. Return it at once. To someone with the style to carry it off. Every move he makes, every breath he takes, I can't stand watching him. No. So, let there be an end to the matter. And thank you for your custom, Mr. Eggert Benedict, sir. With such reasonable rates of interest, I may even decide to come back. And this is why I hate grown-ups. Just because I'm a diver, everyone thinks that makes me a liar. The contents of the coat pockets, if you please, broker. But of course, sir, here's the disc for you. Just this one. Pardon, sir? I was expecting another. That is, I deposited another. Another disc. Oh dear. I regret to inform you, sir, that what was deposited with me, it was merely the overcoat. It just happened to be in one of the pockets, but I was completely unaware of it until now. So, gutterling, you're hiding more of what's rightfully mine, are you? Says you, eh? I don't know nothing about it. Nothing about it. Very well. then I shall bid you farewell. Say goodbye to Sire. Wait a minute. That disc is mine. What do you think you're doing, you little trump? You've drawn blood, you filthy animal. They're mine. Yes, there's blood on the disc. It's because of all those sharp little bumps. The man must have scratched his finger on them. I found it first, alright? I mean, it belonged to me old man. So you're not having it. Or you take it. Me? If I hang on to it, then I'll have it off me again, so you keep hold of it. Mr. Strawknight, why is this so important to her? The music box is a metal disc used to play in a mechanical music box. A piece of music which remains unidentified is stored on the disc by means of small protrusions. Let's take a look at it really quick. Oh, jeez. Okay, well, we'll look at it after this conversation. You there, in the black livery. Hand that disc to me at once, please. No, don't! He's lying! Grown-ups are all liars. What do I do now? How am I going to resolve this? Okay. Look at the little bumps on the discs, they're so tiny. Yes, the protrusions are called pins, and they pluck the teeth of the comb to make notes. And just on the edge is a small amount of blood. Yes, the blood of the mysterious Mr. Edgar Benedict. When Mr. Strahd tried to grab the disc from him, the pin scratched his fingers, it seems. And when you're creating some daikon radish and accidentally scratch your finger. Ouch! Just thinking about it hurts. It puts me off eating radish. Comes a note, of course. And gilded. Oh, there's a little scrap of paper stuck to the reverse side of the disc. Look! And a scribble word for two. It looks like someone's name. For McGilded. McGilded? It couldn't be. But it is Mr. Nagolo. A name I shall never forget for as long as I live. But why? Why is his name on this? On the reverse side is a note that reads for McGilded. Interesting. Wow, Miss Lestrade is really looking daggers at that mysterious gentleman. You need to do something to calm things down before she loses control and attacks him again. Look at those piercing eyes. He's clearly in no mood to talk. We have to do something quickly before he leaves. Mr. Sholmes? What are you examining with such keen interest there? As you enjoy a bar of caramel, I see. So, you found me at last, Mr. Naruhodo. Sorry? After that young pickpocket sent me on my way, I was forced to look in the shadows, cruelly ostracized, as the rest of you partook in the jovial atmosphere of fellowship. I had nothing to do with to occupy my mind, but I was too ashamed to let society see what my downfall had done to me. So, feigning mock interest, I pretended to examine the tedious trinkets in this desolate place. Whilst, as you surely observed, gnawing on the only friend I have left, the 7% solution of caramel. Pray, do you claim to understand the depths of my despair, Mr. Naruhodo? But how could you? I was so lonely. So desperately lonely. Then why on earth didn't you rejoin the conversation? Things have gone from bad to worse here, you know. Yes, I overheard much of your conversation. Or rather, my craving for human contact, my ears devoured every word that was uttered. You really were sad, weren't you? Poor Mr. Sholmes, I feel simply awful for you. It would seem that my inferences are correct. Oh, surely you're not about to tell us that you've solved the entire case once again. My dear madam, sometimes I wonder, were my genius for deduction to be commoditized, how much I could pawn it for. It seems Mr. Sholmes has had another of his flashes of inspiration. Who knows if it will help resolve the situation between Miss Lestrade and the mysterious gentleman. What's the right thing to do here? Listen to the deduction. I clicked on that on accident, but I was gonna pick that anyway. Well, Miss Lestrade, it would appear you find yourself in something of a predicament. Where in the blue blazes have you been, eh? Pardon? When a lady's in trouble, a true gent's supposed to be there to help. straight away. Not an hour later. Harsh. And who, pray tell, are you? Mr. Eggert Benedict. You have, in my eyes, a veritably encyclopedic array of curiosities about your person. Nevertheless, there are two immovable conclusions I have drawn. I beg your pardon. The first is this. The true reason for your visit to this pawnbrokery today is something you have not yet revealed. And the second is this. A considerable crime is in contemplation, one you will orchestrate with the intent to steal a vast sum of money. Well, Mr. Benedict, what say you to my deductions? How? He turned as white as a hard-boiled egg. It would seem that once again, Mr. Sholmes had made a flawless deduction. Just who do you think you are, sir? Ah, yes, as I had hoped. That is precisely the pained expression I was looking for. So, shall we begin? The time has come for yet another Sherlock Holmes' logic and reasoning spectacular. Here we go.